Hello. Today for our lesson we're going to do something a little different. What we're going to do is I am going to do 3 parts of our lesson, but all 3 parts are doing the same problem. So what we're going to do is the first part we're going to do the tens and ones way of solving a problem. The second part we're going to do the make a 10 way. And then the third part of our lesson is going to actually be the way I want you to do it today, and it's what I call the good old-fashioned way to do it, and your parents are going to love this one. So what I want you to do is stick with me. We're going to be solving the same problem 3 ways. So let's take a look. What I want you to do on your whiteboards is I want you to write the problem 17 plus 16. And as soon as you do that, we're going to get started in solving that. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at our 2 numbers, and we need to decide which one is the smaller number. And if I look at 17 and 16, I know 16 is my smaller number. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be breaking down 16. Now remember, I'm going to split 16 into tens and ones. And so I know 16 is 10, 6, right? So which way am I going to put this 10 and the 6? Am I going to put 10, 6 here, or am I going to do 6, 10? Right, I'm going to do 10 over here because it's got to be closest to this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 10, 6. Now I know that 16 is 10, 6. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to circle my 2-digit number with my 10. And I'm going to bring it down into a number sentence. 17 plus 10 equals something, right? So what is it? Well, again, if you visualize your hundreds chart, you can see the column of 7s. It starts off 7, 17, and then what? That's right, 27. So 10 more than 17 is 27. But I can prove that. And the way I'm going to prove that is this. I'm going to look at my 10s and go, okay, I have 1 10 here plus 1 10 here. That gives me 2 10s. And then my 7 is in my ones place, and it didn't change because I'm adding 0 to it. So 7 plus 0 is 7, so I get 27. But I don't stop there. Now what I have to do is I have to take my 27, add it to the number I didn't use, which is 6, and come up with my answer. So I'm going to punch 27 and count up 6. I've got 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. So I'm pretty sure my number is 33. I'm pretty sure the sum of this problem is 33. Now, I want to show you another little tidbit. So if I take a look at this, now we just punched the 27 and counted up 6 to get 33. There's another way your brain can work to do this. So if I take the ones, so I'm only going to take the 7 and the 6 because I know those are my ones, and I add those together. I know that it's going to come up to 13, but we're going to prove it. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. You could have also said, well, I know 7 plus 7 is 14, so 7 plus 6 must be 13. Okay? So I know I have 13 ones. So let's look at it like this. If I have a tens and ones frame here, that means I have 2 10s, because I don't have any over here, and 13 ones. And if you remember correctly, I can't have 13 ones over here. So that means I have to bring this on over here, and now I have 3 ones, or 3 10s over here and 3 ones over here, which again gives us our answer of 33. So I want you to start using your minds differently for math. I want you to start doing some of it in your head. But what I also want you to do is make sure that you're doing all the parts of solving a problem. So again, this is the tens and ones way of solving the problem. Next, we're going to go on to the make a 10 way. Here we are with our make a 10 way. What we're going to do is we're going to try to bring one of these numbers up to the nearest 10. So let's take a look. Again, we have 17 and 16. So which one is closest to a 10? Which, if we think about it, it's 10, 20, 30, so on. So which one is closest to 20? Is it 17 or is it 16? That's right, 17 is closest. So what we're going to do is, again, we're going to be breaking down the 16. Now, what we're going to be doing is we need to give 17 enough to bring it up to 20. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my ones. So 7 plus something equals 10. What is that something? That's right, 3. 7 plus 3 equals 10. So I know 17 plus 3 is going to bring that number up to the 20. So here's the tricky question though. If I have 3 here and I have 16 here, what's this number? So think about it. This is a part, this is a part, this is my whole or my total. So how do I figure it out? Well, I can punch 3 and count up to 16, but boy, that would take a long time. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to punch 16 and count backwards 3. Okay? So I have 16, 15, 14, 13. So 13 should be my answer here. Okay? So now I don't have 16, I have 3, and I have 13. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to circle my friend of 10. So now I have 17 plus 3, and we said that's going to bring it up to 20. Now let's stop for a moment. Let's take a look. I know 7 plus 3 is 10. So 10 plus this other 10 that's right here, 10 plus 10 is 20. Do you see how your brain's starting to work? Now I'm going to take that 20 and I'm going to add it to the number I didn't use, which is the 13. So how do I figure that out? I'm not going to punch 20 and count up 13. What I'm going to do is I'm going to match my 10s and I'm going to match my 1s. So I'm looking here and I have 2 10s and 1 10, which gives me 3 10s. And now I have 0 1s and 3 1s. And I know that my 1s don't change, so it's going to be 3. So my answer again is 33. So what we've done is we've now figured out 2 different ways to solve the same problem and come up with the same answer. And let's look back here. So now, another way you can look at this 20 plus 13 is this. I have 20 here, but I know 13 is 10 3, right? So that means that I have another 10 here. So that means that I have 2 10s plus 1 10 is 3 10s or 30, so 33. So I want you to really start thinking about these numbers. Now, the next part of our lesson is going to be the new part, and I think you're really going to like this one a lot better. But again, you have to stay organized with it. If you're not organized, it won't work for you. So hang on, I can't wait to show you. Are you ready for my favorite way to solve this problem? So stay with me and stay organized. You ready for it? So again, we have 17 plus 16, and we already know the answer is 33, don't we? So I'm actually just going to fill it in because we've already done this. We know it's 33. But check it out. Check out this way to do it. What we're going to do, and do this with me, we're going to rewrite our problem just like this. And I want you to notice what I've done. I've done it up and down. And what I did was I lined up my 10s here and my 1s here. And actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line down the middle. Okay? And I'm going to draw a line down the middle so that I know I have my 1s over here and my 10s over here. Now what I also want you to do is I want you to draw yourself a box right here for me. Okay? So, this is what we're going to do. And the important detail you have to know about this is you always start with the 1s. Say that with me. Ready? You always start with the 1s. Again, you always start with the 1s. One more time. You always start with the 1s. Always, 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 always start with the 1s. Okay? So now, let's take a look at our 1s. We know these are our 1s. Now, we also know that I can't have more than 9 1s over here, right? So let's take a look at what we're going to do. We said earlier that 7 plus 6 is 13, but let's punch it out again. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, okay? Now, I just told you I can't write a number bigger than 9 over here. I can only write anything 9 or lower. So, let's think about it. I have the number 13. What I'm going to do is I'm going to break these into my 10s and 1s. And the only digit that's going down here is going to be my 1s. But watch how I write my answer. You ready for it? So 7 plus 6 is 13. Watch this. 13 is 1 and 3, isn't it? So all I did was split the number 13. And think about what I did though. In the number 13, I have 110, and that is in the tens column, and 3 ones, which is in the ones column. Did you see how I did that? So 110 and 3 ones is 13, okay? Are you with me so far? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect my first two numbers. 1 plus 1 is 2, but I'm not done there. I still have to add this one. 2 plus 1 more is 3. Do you see how I did that? I came up with 33. It was shorter, it was quicker, but I, again, still want you understanding that you have to separate your tens and your ones. So do you see how when I had 7 plus 6, I said 7 plus 6 is 13. So I can't write 13 down here. I had to put my 110 up here and 3 ones down here. And then the other important detail that I find a lot of my students miss is you forget about this lonely little number down here. Don't forget to add that in. Once you do 1 plus 1 is 2, you've got to remember to add this here to give you your 3. What do you think? I think it's a lot easier. I really do. I do understand why we do the other ways as well. It really helps you to get your mental math going. So what we're going to do is I'm only going to give you 1 page of homework tonight. And what I'm going to have you do is do it this way. And we're going to go over the first problem with you so that I make sure that you understand what you're doing. So hold on for your homework. So for your homework today, what you're going to do is you're going to be looking at page 103. And that's the only page I want you to do. But there's 8 problems on the page, so I want you to make sure that you do all 8 problems. And I want to make sure you're doing them right, so I want you to take your time and go slow. And that's the reason I'm only giving you 1 page for tonight. Now, do this with me. So we have a box. This is how they're set up. They're set up in boxes for each problem, okay? So obviously you can't write overly big or you're not going to have enough room. So what I want you to do is I want you to rewrite your problem just like I do. I want you to write it 19 with a plus sign out here plus 12 and then put the line underneath it, and then you're going to draw a line down the middle, and that's going to help you to make sure you're lining up your tens and your ones. But what I also want you to do is put your box here. Okay? Can you do that for me? Now, what we're going to do is, again, we're starting with the ones. So, these are our ones. We're going to add 9 plus 2 more. So, we have 9, 10, 11. Well, I know I can't write the number 11 down here. I've got to split it because 11 is 110 and 1 1. So, I'm going to write that 110 and 1 1. Got it? Now, we're going to connect our first 2 numbers. I have 1 plus 1 is 2, and then 2, and why don't we go ahead and circle this so we know we have to add it. 2 plus 1 more is 3. So my answer is 31. What do you think? Pretty easy, right? Now, I want to show you how you can kind of tell if you're right or not. Let's see if we can do this. So, I know I have 110 here and 110 here, right? So keep that in your head. You got 2 tens. Well, now I've got 9 plus 2 in the ones, which we just said was 11. So if I have 2 tens, which is 20, plus 11, so we have 2 tens plus 1 more 10 is 3 tens plus a 1. So 30 plus 1 is 31. See how I did that? So what we're going to do is do all of your problems just like this. If you have any problems with your homework, please let us know, and make sure your parents send in pictures of your page that you did today. Good luck, and I hope you really enjoy this way of doing it.